She's fine too, and I want you. Uh, uh, uh. Let's see if I can pull it up on this one. Give me a second. Oh, I think I got it on this platform. Yeah. Oh, chill. Mm-hmm. You give a oh. First off, I'm gonna let them know that I do this for real. I don't. What the fuck is I do this for real?
Get a free domain, matching email address with your GoDaddy website.
Mm-hmm. Hey, hey. First off,
I'ma let them know that I do this for real.
hey.
I don't fuck with the fakers, I do this for real. I aim for the top and I'm shooting to kill. Though I speak from the heart of my words from the hill. No, I don't want deals, no, I don't want no deals. I done lost too much blood, the
Check so many tears.
so many hard times over all of these years. But I guess it's all good cause it lives right here. You may say that you know, but you have no idea.
You have no idea.
Thought I was disappeared like David Chappelle.
Hey.
You ain't gotta lie, but okay. Thought I was done, but no way, Jose. I'm running with the juice like I was okay. My game cold and frozen like a snowflake. I'm trying to find a way to raise my pay rate. I'm up trying to get it before the day break. My girl like good gracious, then can't you wait? No, I cannot. I'm already late. She asked if I'm hungry, I already ate. Thanks for the offer, don't need no more weight. I got 448 pounds on my plate. I smoke so much that I can't have till I forget my problem. I'm drinking like an answer at the bottom.
Let's go.
You were already carrying burdens your spirit didn't understand.
Now I'm getting my notes together.
As I ride through the west side where I reside, I behold with my eyes to tell so many lies and still those filled with tears will never cry. I often wonder why, talking to the sky with no reply. The future of our fate we must decide. Look outside, my niggas tell me, are you satisfied? I look inside and find the truth that they taught you to hide and set aside. Your pride, make we all be unified. Why divide when it's time for the turning of the tide? Let us set the sail and make we
Get that shit beside. We was born to be royalty, man. I bull crap you not.
Do you accept the turn of life, brother?
Just riding through the ghetto, riding through the ghetto. I know my money. Riding through the ghetto, riding through the ghetto. Riding through the ghetto. I said we was born to be royalty, man. I BS you not. Come on, man. Check it out.
We got crack babies, rap babies, trap babies, strapped with 380s, young ladies selling they pussy cause they think it's all gravy. Little niggas with no daddies, families doing so bad.
Let's go.
Murder on the next corner, these young niggas is straight blasted. Brother, where's the compassion? We loveless in every fashion, passing to wicked passions. This shit is sick and saddening. When we gon' quit the madness? When we gon' get established and live lavish without the practice trying to snatch us. Don't mean to sound like no pastor, cause no offer's what I'm after. But if you don't listen to what I'm saying, doesn't matter. And you know it.
And you know it.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, you know it.
But I still give you my life, I feel I owe it.
Cause I owe
So
it.
take these seeds.
Take these seeds.
And please don't throw it.
And please don't throw it.
Cause if you sow it in good deed, I bet you grow it. Let me know, please. If you don't want it. Cause you need to pass that power
To your homie.
Oh.
Come on, man. Riding through the ghetto. Riding through the ghetto. I'll be riding through Arizona on my magic carpet. I'll be riding through Arizona on my magic carpet. Drop top.
What you want to do is save hundreds with Liberty
That's my Noble Brian Hicks Day. His album streaming on all platforms. We produced it. We got some more stuff coming out. Check him out. Let's go. Lately life been troubling. Stressed out. Worry and wondering. Will my next meal come again? Pills I hate to swallow, but dude. Come on, man. That's real music. Get to the next one. Let's how this come in. This is how it come in.
And this is where I came through the struggle and the stress and pain. Most you niggas lame, so that whole shit I don't entertain. Codes of the game given to me at an early age. I'm out here making change. Why is you niggas trying to remain the same? Remaining a hell of a slave, just so that you could get hella paid. Tricks of the trade, and they got you standing center stage. Trapped in the maze, wrapped in the phase. Practice geeking lap, filled the days off you niggas' ways. What more can I say? Not a thing, man, you know that shit is a shame. I ain't say no particular name, but if it's you, get the fuck out the game. Nights like this, I wish for black rain. You should call a nigga Eddie Kane. Me, myself, and just Mary Jane. Middle fingers up to everything. Me and them soft niggas never hang. First you boys got to elevate. I love Florida, what I was raised, but I move my mind to a better state. I bang on the beats, I don't hesitate. My enemy's hand, I don't ever shake. Bitch in the battle, we can't engage. Motherfucker, just tell me you set a date. Huh? Nights like this, I wish that raindrops follow me. Nights like this, I wish that raindrops follow me. Nights like this, I wish that raindrops follow me.
Yeah. Listen.
35, 45, 55, going once, twice, sold a nigga. Too many lies, way too many times. Left your tongue tied when you told it, nigga. Stole my land, stole my language, stole my lady, women, diamonds, women, golden nigga. Kill my cousin, kill my brother, took my knowledge, just to try to keep my soul in prison. Snake bitch, all you own is mine. Put your money to your education system. All of your emphasis focused on me. Trying to keep your hocus pocus on me. But through your illusion, I clearly can see. I know the beast in his tendencies, and the weak mind is his delicacy. The smile just maybe his deadliest feature. The sign before he is ready to eat you. Hate me because I am coming to ether. Constantly spilling the blood of my people, so fuck it. I don't trust you, and I ain't fucking with no buster ass niggas who love you. Because we all know that you niggas is undercover. Smooth sliding through my hood, but you the devil's secret lover. Bitch, how you hustle a hustler? How you out snake a snake? How you gon' out monkey all the monkeys and the apes? Trying to eat the cake, keep the cake, and feed your two-face. Bitch, nights like this,
I wish that raindrops falling. Let's go. I wish that raindrops falling. Yeah. I wish that raindrops falling. You got next song. Check
3
him out.
reasons guys regret trying Rougiette ready.
Yeah, I think he got some dope. His new stuff is, man, cold. I told him he cold, but he remind me, my Noble Brian remind me of, what's my man, the G Unit, Lloyd, I think it's Lloyd Banks. His demeanor, calm demeanor, like he ain't tripping. Let's go. Ride with your old lady with this.
Stuck in the middle of there and nowhere. If you can hear me, Lord, I need you here. Don't mean to phone you won't collect your tears. But every now and then they do fall. But I'm ready for whenever you call.
Ooh, come on. Come on.
Whenever you call, it gives me chills. Whenever you come home, I can't stay still. But I can't recall the last time you called. I know these things are not stay up here.
Yeah.
Cause all I had, I watched it disappear. I know these wounds on me have yet to heal.
Come on.
But I still gotta stay strong, getting ready for whenever you call.
Come on, you know that's a nice little groove. Yeah, whenever you call.
But I can't recall the last time you called.
Let my boy be going off, I don't care. Check him out on this one. He go off on this one too. This one called Silver Special. Silver Star Special. Uh-huh.
Buy shit to appreciate. Fat blunt just to elevate. Then alleviate. Yo, I'm high, you should see my face. Heaven real like to see the gates. Stack chips like free to lay. So I'm free to lay wherever I oblige. So live forever, so I'm never out of time. Black with God for use wherever I can find. Your belly button mean you will settle from your moms. Yeah. Money make you come, you got that girl feel you. Put a smile on your face while you get so serious. At the end of the day, we all some ghetto children. You try to stop the process. I'ma hit you with some objects. Coming to the bucket on the eye set.
Hey, watch how he come in.
Contest. Shit, you looking at the prospect, motherfucker. Little buster. Can't believe I had love for you when I was low on my luck. Tell me where were you when times got tough and life lackluster. Yes, that mustard. Made you think I wouldn't bounce back like rubber. Took me for some type of sucker or something. Thought I went through all that trouble for nothing. Can't believe you measure me to some money that's funny. Bitch, I've got better treasures than the deepest of seas. My how you slumber and sleep with the need. You sick as a slave and seek to be free, but begging for peace and weak in the knees. You can't. That's crazy. Insane, I would say. You could run a rat race every day, but those ain't the games that I would play.
Ooh. Them boys be going off. This reminds me of some old school stuff right here. I grew up in the 90s. This radio right here, ain't it? And this radio song. I told him he got a hit. That's a hit, man. In my hand. Yeah. Kind of like hits, man. We got hits. I'll give this to my boy. I'm gonna give y'all some good science. I just have to promote my brother. Yeah. Let's go. That's right.
It was a silent night. You was doing things you would die to try. Looking back on it, I'm amazed the way that I survived. Till you seen it like I saw it. We just won't see eye to eye. The question is now, who am I? Who are you for thinking that I owe your ass an alibi? I showed you niggas time and time again. I never live a lie. Look at the grief you give a guy for going where you won't go. Doing what you don't know. They never show no love or even acting like they want more. I light in my heart to forgive them for that they don't know. You living so. I live my life, I say so. Became a rich man the day I made my own payroll. Manifested the hidden gold from the depths of my soul.
Let's go.
Oh,
my fault. I messed him up. I had to play that back. I had to bring that back, man. My bad. My bad, man. Yeah. I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. My homie said that's dope. Yeah. That's his whole album, bro. Damn. Yeah. That's his whole album. Let's go. Bring it back.
Twas a silent night. We was doing things you would die to try. Looking back on it, I'm amazed the way that I survived. Till you seen it like I saw it. We just won't see eye to eye. The question is not who am I, but who are you for thinking that I owe your ass an alibi? I showed you niggas time and time again. I never live a lie. Look at the grief you give a guy for going where you won't go. Doing what you don't do. They never show no love or even act like they want more. I lighten my heart to forgive them for that they don't know. You living so. I live my life, I say so. Became a rich man the day I made my own payroll. Manifested the hidden gold from the depths of my soul. I was spread thoroughly. Homie, don't hurry me. I got it. Bitch, don't hurry me.
Hey.
My life might look discouraging, but to a real nigga ain't nothing more encouraging.
That's right. To a real one, we encouraging brothers and motivate each other. Y'all know it's real. He said, my mind, I'ma be somebody someday. That's a hit too to me. Let me let y'all hear another one. Tell me what y'all think about it. He got this, I forget who this, I forget who she is.
A hug, no love like self-love. I'm an aberration, not a settler. So what the fuck I wanna settle for? My soul is broken, I fixed it up. So what the fuck I wanna sell it for? Really, I just wanna better us. Me, myself, and I, we about to fly up into another pinnacle. It's nothing short of a miracle. I used to just wanna get rich as fuck. Now I just try to keep my spirits up. I say to myself in the mirror, it's a phenomenal nigga. I keep on repeating my mantra. I roll on my weed and I don't know if it's the pose of the portrait, but this is the perfect picture. I see myself molding in water. I guess it's just like go figure. Wish I could go show Philip, cause Lord sure knows I miss him. But we gon' live forever, so that there don't make no
difference. Let's go. You
fucking right.
Yep.
You fucking right.
Next.
Always trying to make love out of these hoes. Always trying to make love. Always trying to make love out of these hoes. Make love out of these hoes.
And we put this album together, what, a couple years ago. And it's streaming on all platforms, free. Transportation of raw materials.
Rick, and that is on the beat.
Yeah.
Oh, she don't wanna love no more. Her heart and ego so from the time that she had failed before. She want me to leave her alone, cause she's been done wrong by every nigga that she's ever known.
Hey.
Her spirit's slow, her soul is cold.
Her soul is cold.
Her heart is still.
Her heart is still.
Still sits there on the floor.
Hey.
And it don't even care no more.
She don't even care no more.
And she don't even care no more.
Hey.
Shawty say the only thing that she love is her son. Busy doing herself because she knows she gets it done. That place called home don't feel like home, so she been on the run. Too much to do and get into, don't need no number ones. Can't be no fool, cause nigga who, she done been fooled more than once. Left her lost in love, stuck up in a rut. Left stuck with the ring, so she just catching up.
Let's go.
She get straight, that's when new niggas interrupt. But she been fucking up, cause she been in a rush.
Okay.
But oh no, not this time, she think it's time to slow down. She been out here on her grind, don't need no more on her mind. Finding peace within herself because it's so hard to find. And the climb was sublime, subtle but abrupt. She said that she had things to do and she needs to hurry up. So I'll work to encourage her,
Let me send it to you.
enough to worry her. For some time, just to wind it down, but I'm promise what the fuck. Oh, she don't wanna love no more. Her heart and ego so.
We got like 2 more. Oh, dang, that's a commercial. I got something good for y'all today, man. I think this another hit too. Hey.
My love is long, so how deep is your mind? Baby, do you have the space and the time I've been searching for and trying to find? Love is blind, yet and still you caught my wondering eye. I'm wondering how, but no fate, I am not one to deny. If we live tonight, we just might be lovers for life. The thought is enticing, I can feel the temperature rising. You analyzing the situation a little too long, like what could go wrong? What if we do, what if we don't?
We got 2 more songs. With my homies. Yeah, it's streaming on. Hold on. I can't even type that fast. You asking me so many questions. I can't type that fast. Goodness. I can't even type that fast. But peace, everyone, man. I was just playing my homie album, Brian Hicks Bay, Transportation of Raw Materials. I hope everybody having a good night on this holy day. I know I am, man. I'm relaxing. Got a lot done earlier, man. Got able to accomplish a lot of things, man. Like I said, I always tell people don't put expectations on yourself. I always want your will and your creator or whatever you believe in. If you rock with me, believe in the God within. No matter what we calling it, we should be way past that. But believe that your will and whatever that manifestation that you're trying to get, it synchronizes. No expectations. No cap. And when I say cap, not how the kids say, I mean no cap is like in a context is no cap on your abilities. It's no cap on how far we can go with what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. We don't teach limitless, or I mean not limitless, but you have a limit and it's a cap. We don't teach that, you know? And I'm telling my brothers and sisters once again, I always have to be correct because every time I come back home, it happens every time. I tell people I graduated from Cleary University. One thing about me, I'm always be transparent. I tell people this all day, transparency with me, it's number uno, especially with young people, young kids, because it's so easy for not only the young kids to get caught up, but for adults to get caught up in things that shouldn't be I wouldn't say shouldn't be going on, but at least be able to see both sides of things. Understand, and when I have these conversations with, you know, I'm just saying I am gonna say it do make a difference. I've just seen a lot of our brothers and sisters that may have took an oath or may be in a so-called Greek fraternity would not speak of anything that if they went to university, which they say they did, and studied misnomer African American history, I think some of the things you would have studied or even had access to. I mean, I always tell people to research a Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. No matter how we feel, no matter this is no BLACK thing or no WHITE thing. That's not what we're doing. We having discourse, we having conversation on certain things and aspects of things. We're not here being spiteful to no one or bringing harm to anyone. Not on this platform. This is not a debate platform, you know. But this is a illumination platform. No matter how no one take it, if they be honest with themselves and what's going on, no one should be on here disagreeing with me because your disagreement is going to be what you profess. So it can't be when we start dealing with subjective and objective, when we start breaking things down on what's really what it is, it shouldn't be a disagreement or an argument. It should be a saying, you know what, I understand, but like I always say, those things that people may did beforehand, that's what you did. But we can't go and profess some things and spread it out, and then in the same manifestation complain. Then then I have to step in. I'll give an analogy, man. My parents are older. My parents 75, 80, right? My dad. I know most of these preachers are Masons. Most of the black preachers, misnomer black preachers that's older than me, they Masons. Most of all of them. And it's no disrespect, but I know what type of Mason you are. So if you speaking something different in the lodge, and then you preaching something different in your ministry house, and you have different brothers in different, like, what's the difference? But see, that's a whole different conversation of what I'm saying. And that's where I'm here today, to be like, wait a minute, man. We can't be afraid of these things. We have to understand where these things come from. I promise you, because a lot of brothers will make videos about Kemetic science or masonry, and it's science that's come from a certain continent. And when I tell people about workman tools, and I say, listen, man, you can think all you want, about what you may profess, but when we deal with scholarship and understanding, I can show, and all this stuff came way before some other, no disrespect, Albert Church Award, signs and symbols of the primordial man. It's so much information and data where we don't have to argue and be on here based off someone don't like a person's you. That's not what we doing. we wouldn't do nothing like that. But signs and symbols of the primordial man will reveal some things. And that's all I'm saying. I said, I'm not here to argue with no one of their affiliation, because I know different nationalities that's Scottish Rite Masons, and I always tell y'all they sons of Muslims. My professor was one at GCU. I'm telling you, I'm like, they sons of Muslims. I'm telling you, I know for a fact. And I don't have to be on here arguing with no one. I'll never do that. I'll be like, well, you don't know. That's why the misnomer, this color, the brothers, they was begging the other man to be recognized in Mississippi, and the other man said no. That's why I'll be laughing. I said, oh, so you got to beg somebody for something that's you supposed to establish, but you don't know because you operate as something that's synonymous to slave. You don't know, and you got an archino or potentate that's out of your whole. And you want to be recognized by that? That's why I be laughing. I said, man, that's why I said it's a joke. From that perspective, I ain't saying the brother's a joke, but I understand, brotherhood and sisterhood. But I say, come on, man, we're not here to argue. You can be proud of your affiliation, but when I show you the roots, you can't get on here and be like, well, nothing. Because the pendulum has to swing the same way to the left as it does to the right. It have to. Because they both under a form of subjugation. Who? Even the Eastern Stars. I know a plethora of them. But they under the DER, the Daughters of American Revolution. Ask them, if your auntie or anyone under the Eastern Star, I bet you I got their charter. And it's no disrespect. And I bet you they pentagram turned a little the wrong way. But I bet you they under the DAR, and I bet you that's where that marriage license things come from. I'm telling you, certain people don't do things in the courts. Why? Because the courts don't need to be involved with private affairs. I'm telling you, man. And that's where the marriage license came from. The Daughters of American Revolution. The DAR. And I love all my Eastern Stars, but I tell my empresses, you a star of the East? How somebody got to always come bring something about you and bring it back to you and then try to have you go through some ritual. And go through all that, and you are that. And you don't understand this. And then when I talk history and science, the whole mind, like a mind starts short circuiting. I said, how can that be? We must be honest about what's going on. Why? Because if we talking about we trying to make a change and resurrect ourselves, people got to, the Scooby Doo movie got to be over. You got to take the mask off. That's what I'm saying. Because if people have the skill and the understanding the same way I do, and have the research is not biased, at least people should be doing is linking it up, saying, wait, hold on, man. We got something that absolutely is a tool in the toolbox. I got a whole library with 1,000,000 books and documents. And this ain't no braggadocious stuff. This, if people know that's one of my professions. I got so many ebooks that I collected in my academic endeavors, or just that's what I'm into. A plethora of books. So when I talk about things, it ain't just the books; it's the history. I done studied too much to not to believe any book that I've studied. If that make any sense. If that make any sense, you know. I'll tell everybody about the Philosophical Research Society. I had the pleasure to be a part of the Philosophical Research Society. You know, it's a specific library that, you know, you have to be a member. You know, it's not hard to be, but then some stuff I'll say, well, you have to go through your own thing to get different access. You know, you know, that'll be on you. That's why I tell people. I said, man, I'm not here to argue with no one. I hear people saying and professing so many things, right? Because that's what we do, you know. And when I say, how can you lead a person in a burning house, right? And you continue to be proven not valid. How? And that's insanity. Like, think about it. Like, you know and I know, that's insanity, right? So when I talk about these Masonic keys, brothers and sisters, I don't want you to be afraid of this. I'm telling you, because it's your science. If I'm here to resurrect and restore, I'm here to bring things back to your remembrance. I'm not saying nothing new. I keep telling you it all belongs to you. If I show you the science, it's all yours. If I say the other type is the son of the Muslims, and then your own brother that may look like you or call himself some widow son, who's tripping? The other man or you, or your brother? The other man already said that they are son of a Muslim, but your brother saying that they are widow son. I'm trying to tell you, man, and there's no disrespect. So what I'm saying is, if you look at things with a proper eye, if you look at things in a proper identity, a lot of times, certain writers in those times, to be able to talk about those time periods, they wrote and they chatted. So when I be quoting old Europeans that wasn't biased, they spoke of what they saw. Just like Lewis and Clark, just like all other books that I have, they truth teller, just like David McRitchie in his book Ancient and Modern Britons. That's why it behooves me, because sometimes I be thinking people I be thinking Ashton Kutcher finna come out and be like, man, they punking me, because everything I be talking about, people be like, oh, I had that book. I say, well, how the hell you got that book and you on here disagreeing with me, and everything that I'm saying to you, I done played reverse psychology on you. I'm talking about the book you say you got. Well, no, I don't agree. And everybody that on here that probably read the book be like, oh, this person is a nut job. With all due respect, is a Snicker candy bar. Think about that. And it ain't for me. I say, if anybody never heard of Stephen Coakley, you might have researched all Stephen Coakley. Well, you don't even got to research him. Just watch some of his videos, and then I can tell you where sometimes when you go the wrong way, those things happen, because certain things, how can I say, in a right manifestation, in a right way. You don't want to lose the sight of the mission. Put it like that. Put it like that. Because you got to remember, Steve Coakley, a lot of them, Khalid Muhammad, all them was back then. You know, Bobby Hemmett was young. So it was a lot. C. Freeman L. So what I'm telling y'all, and even with European scholars, when I'm talking about when I'm talking about Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, and then when I can talk about Atlantis of the Latter Days, where the other skin Mason guy called himself El Elyon, and it ain't no disrespect, and they'll tell you it's all the Osiris mysteries. So I'm not here to disrespect no one. And then a lot of stuff can be really, I can really bring some more matter-factualness to break down things in its simplicity, where a person don't get caught up, and how every time something try to come from your area, they'll try to say it's not this and not that. Why? Because they ain't approve it. And I'm saying it like that, specific like that, for TikTok won't kick me off. But if you catching the synonyms in the word that I'm saying, you will understand. So when I talk about Kemetic origin of Freemasonry, and when I talk about the signs and symbols, they don't lie, right? All the signs of ancient and modern Freemasonry, they rooted all in Kemet, Egypt, whatever you want to call it. No disrespect. The evidence is all overwhelmingly obvious that Freemasonry borrowed all the allegorical myths and ideologies, metaphors from more ancient societies than were advanced in the philosophical mysteries. When I be talking about European writers that people be putting high, like Manly P. Hall, they got a whole library of Manly P. Hall at the Philosophical Research Society. When we talk about in the secret teachings of all ages, and then the first thing brother be saying, yeah, I got that, and then when I say okay, and then I start playing and tell, well, stupid. I'll say, well, I say, well, then I say something like this: it all began in Kush, Abyssinia, or AKA Ethiopia, where perhaps some of the wisest Nubians toiled, and where civilization originated. No, 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 no. I say, and then I'd be like, okay, you sure? And I'm not saying that's what it is. I say you have the book, and so if I'm referencing a book, you say you have the book. This is what I be saying. I think it's a Chinese word called Sudoku. I always saying that when people say they got that, they got that. Yeah, you got it. You might have collected, but you haven't. It's nothing happening with it. But in the secret teachings of all ages, by Manly P. Hall, it all begins in Kush, Abyssinia, Ethiopia, where perhaps some of the wisest Nubians toiled, and were civilized, and where civilization originated, thus transmitting their enlightenment and completement. Now, by the Nile River flows, and it comes from from the south to the north, and it referenced Sterling Means in his book. He referenced Sterling Means in his book titled Ethiopia. Write this down for reference. Ethiopia and the Missing Link in Africa, History, and John G. Jackson, work titled Ethiopia and the Origin of Civilization. So I just have to be honest, man. A lot of times when brothers become, Masons and things, it's only when I be saying snowman wisdom at 32 degrees, that's in meteorology when water freeze. And it's no disrespect to no one. I just always ask my brothers and sisters if we have something that can be solidarity, because they're supposed to be one nationality, many cultures. And now, if you part of a brotherhood or a sisterhood or whatever, it should be some solidarity. It should be to this day, out of all the things happening to us, and everybody, no matter what flag they put up, I bet you if you melanated, you would say you down with reparations. I bet you everybody on here that's melanated, I bet you would say you down with reparations. And then watch, and then I can switch turn the whole volume up and see could most NBCs agree. And watch this. Now let's play. Let's do a survey. How many people down with reparations on here right now? Watch how easy this gonna be. Watch how easy this gonna be. How many people down with reparations that can say it right now? At least a couple. Watch this. Watch how easy this be. And then watch so many people will argue. Well, and a person here that have no biasness, a referee, a judge, whatever you want to call it, would be cracking the hell up. Cause I would too. So the first question I ask is, how many people down with reparations that want reparations per se? Me. What about you? What about you? Watch this. What about you? I'm just keeping it 100. If it said, okay, every, misnomer BLACK person gonna get, and I just say you gonna get $5 million. All right, are you down with reparations? I'm just saying it like that. Me. What about you? Come on, what about you? Anybody? I just want to see what anybody say. To see if we agree, or we can just play like this, Law and Order, but in the context of nationality and race per se. So, would anybody on here, if anybody on here melanated down with reparations, yes or no? I got my other post. He said, yeah. He said, you about to whoop us, ain't you? No, I'm just gonna ask the questions. You stupid. So, anybody on here, are you down with reparations per se? If they had reparations for, melanated people. Anyone? All you got to do is say yes. Yes, type no. Let's see what anybody type yes and okay. Gratitude. Okay, I understand we'll never get it, but that ain't the question I asked. I understand that. Believe me, I understand everything you saying, my dear brother or sister, or whoever you are, brother. I know we'll never get it, but I get that. But I said, are you down with it? I said hypothetically. Now let's answer it the right way again. Let me reframe it. If people didn't understand what I was saying, I apologize. I said if reparations was given to misnomer black people, I said X amount of $1 million, would you be cool with it? Would you want it? Yes or no? I say yes. I'm just saying it like that. I'm saying if I have a choice of yes or no, yeah. Why wouldn't I? But like I said, and this is going to be the but. This is going to be the contractual thing that we're going to be able to speak about. So the first thing we just got to do is answer the question the right, proper way and stay in context. And then we'll go to the next level. Because we just having a conversation. I'm trying to see, could we get to an agreement? Okay, you say no. Some other people, let's see what other people say. They giving every misnomer black man 100 million. So he say no. I understand. But they give every misnomer black man 100 million. I'm just being sarcastic. Because the outcome is gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot that say yes, it's gonna be a lot that say no. So that you just want individual that may say no. I respect your choice, because everybody have a choice. I respect that. And I respect you for saying you wouldn't take the bag. I respect you too. I respect you for that. Let's see if anybody else will say what they'll say on this TikTok page. Let's see what anybody else will say. Well, my homeboy say, oh damn, it went off, my fault. Let me get it back on for you, bro. My bad. I want to see if anybody gonna say yes or no. Or if I get all no's, We gonna see. If they was giving every misnomer BLACK person right now reparations, they was giving all BLACK men $100 million. You know, 100 million to reparation, but it's contingent on something. You wouldn't want it? Some people will say yes, some people will say no, and I say okay, that's fair. I was just trying to see how many people on here would be, honest enough to say, yeah, I'll take it, or no, I won't take it. It would be an insult to accept the money, okay? And people that went through the slavery not to be compensated, but that ain't what I said. That's not what I'm saying. Cause somebody else, now that's your only, somebody said, okay, he said, but you can get it now and do good. So I get that. I get how people look at things, but what I always say, why we are who we are in America, because everybody have a choice. And as long as it's not harming no one, because you might not take it and you might say, well, based on your standards, which can be subjective or objective, yes, but if somebody else choose to say, well, shoot, I feel we should have this. We done built America. We done did this. We weren't compensated for nothing. And we in today, and this is what it is. We can get this type of money. Some people will look at it in a whole different manifestation. Not in the same way you look at it. And then just because they look at it different don't mean they're wrong. Because we can't say that that's wrong. And I'm not saying you're wrong as well. That's why we are individuals. This is what I be saying when certain things happen and they say, well, I feel no one should do it. Why? Because other people feel different about the situation, and they'll be able to actually do some good. They'll be actually to change the communities and families and a plethora of things. So I'm not saying why, and when people have been through slavery and all this, I said if reparation was going down, because I said how many people are down with reparations? Because that's what all that Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, no disrespect, but I said if people were talking about reparations and these type of stuff and all this, that's all I was speaking on. And I said, well, what do people want with reparations? Because it ain't no freedom. So when misnomer BLACK people are asking for reparations, that's talking about monetary payout. That's all I was asking specifically, because any form of reparations that the misnomer black people want is some cash. That ain't nothing else they want. When we talking about that, when we talking about this, if we stand in context. And so the next question, I said, if a person is down with reparations or say XYZ, I said, well, then it's some things that have to be agreed on. It's some vernacular that has to be corrected. This is all I'm saying. So when a person say reparations and they say, well, yes, I'm down with reparations, and I say, well, in the form of what? What would you say? What would you say your reparations would be in the form of? Land and money? So I just have real conversations, or what? Land, money, and what? We say, well, how long were people in a so-called slavery? Because once again, I tell you, everybody wasn't no slaves. Now, no matter how nobody feel about what I'm saying, I'm telling you, the people that know their family and their family crest and their coat of arms, everybody wasn't no slave now. And I understand the idea from Africa per se. I'm not dissing that, but everybody is not from Africa. Now I don't care how nobody feel, brothers and sisters within the Americas. I mean, big facts. So if you down with reparations, which every person say they were like, oh, Black Lives Matter, and I say, well, in the courts, to get any type of thing that you need to be reparated or restoration or whatever catchphrase you want to use, all I'm saying is, because I know every misnomer BLACK person on here is down with reparations. And like I said, I respect you for saying you wouldn't take a cash payout, but there's a whole bunch of more people on this other platform, and I'm dang sure everybody on here won't say no, Cause some people be looking at their family. They were like, well, shoot, I bet I can look out for my family. Some people that look at it just like that. You know, some people won't look at it as a curse. Some people won't look at it in the concept of like, well, all what happened to the slaves and woo woo woo, the blah blah blah, the splee, without no disrespect. Everybody won't feel like that. I can almost guarantee that. That don't mean they're bad people because they don't feel that way in that certain situation where you have a choice. That's what I'm saying. So, and then and what I'm saying specifically in context, if we are down with reparations, then it's some language, it's some understanding that we have to understand. And the first thing we have to understand is in this context that we're not acronym NBC. So I hope we know what the acronym NBC mean. You know, and I hope we catch that. So that's number one. Man, when I tell brothers and sisters, that word wasn't even used to describe ethnicity in first century. And then just like when I talk about some Willie Lynch letter, and then when you see the area and the land and geographical area, and during the time, this is how when I say if you study linguistics and language and how things written, if this is a certain different area, say we in I just say a different continent, right? And during that time back then, you say this is how you speaking, right? And then when your writings or how you say you done people from your area, from your culture, that's supposed to be your letter is in modern English. Because BLACK that's not how the word BLACK is supposed to be written from where the so-called Willie Lynch is. I can't give you too much information. Pull up one of the videos I lectured it. I lectured at college too. You could hear a pin drop. You could hear a pin drop. I say the language already. I say the language off. You can't say this. It wasn't even used like that. It wasn't even spelled like that. So when they came in there with that pseudo stuff, I said, who brought y'all in here? Like, who brought y'all in here to do this? That's why I say, and I had professors that was different nationality. It was like, well, if you can prove it from scholarship, you have every right to do what you're doing. From no disrespect. You know? And that's all I'm saying. So when I ask brothers and sisters, I said, okay, well, we just per se, if everybody down with reparations, where then you can't identify and say, well, it don't matter. And then as an NBC, because it do matter. You don't have to like Noble Drew Ali as a person and none of that stuff. We don't have to do that. But you do have to give credit where credit is due. You know, for a piece of science, not dealing with all the fugazi stuff, they found this here and there, but from some of the things that help brothers understand who they are from their nationality and spirituality on a context of not telling you that you're not a Negro, you know, a BLACK, a color, you know, ETC, having you to research some things and look at things in a different eye. Telling us we have a right of a nationality when I be telling people that 14th Amendment has nothing to do with you and I. It has nothing to do with me. So if we want a particular thing to happen, we have to agree that we are people with a national name. Like, man, you can go to any archives in real life and see how the mayor signed the Declaration Proclamation in 2012 for a plethora of states. Saying that the misnomer of black people with a rich name, Moorish American, and all this etc. I got all the dang old certificates, you know. And when I tell people, research the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. I just be telling people that all that stuff. I say, man, no one is doing nothing to us. I can pick out every person that's promulgating that BLACK stuff. That's the issue. And then in the same voice, they say, well, we're going to get some attorneys. I'll be thinking it's MONEY, laundering. How? Because that attorney going to know he going to lose but get paid off the top. And that's why I be telling people, man, you're going to get played off the dribble. I know this off the top. They know it too. Because you have no standing in law. And the only people that got paid for a BLACK person is the person that created them. This ain't no joke, man. This is serious business. This is serious business. Y'all don't understand that. And I'll be like, okay, I'll be teaching things that I'm able to taught in the academia. I teach civics, especially when it comes down to ethnicity. I said, you just can't avoid nothing. I said, that ain't even how you operate. Why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to show up to the battlefield and say, yeah, I know exactly who I am? Why you want someone to arbitrarily explain who you are? Why? All these things, when I say forget the religious aspect, which that's supposed to come with our understanding, but this aspect right here, why don't we agree? Why can't we agree? Because it ain't got nothing to do with nobody outside. It got to do with our own people in houses that they say they this type of some that's outside the context of the inner. No disrespect. When a person say that they a GREEK God, and I say, well, what do you mean? Like, tell me, what do you mean? Because I just told you, the other man, they say that they an Egyptian God. I just tell you, all the science, when you be in fraternities and when you get in masonry, it's the Osiris mysteries. Oh, so somebody got to teach you about you. That don't even make no sense. The irony in that. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, the irony of that. So if we supposed to be BLACK people, y'all, because I'm telling y'all, I had this is why I came here today, specifically for this. It shouldn't be no separation. Tell me why. Tell me why out of all these so-called black fraternities, out of all these Masons, out of all the so-called Moors, out of all the brothers that's melanated, how ain't no solidarity? Tell me. And we should, and I think we all agree on reparations. If we can't agree on reparations, well, who are the people that can't agree? Who are the people that can't agree that we not NBCs? Who are the people that stand up in front of everybody and say, well, we African Americans, and I'll show you how people got paid. I'll show you how people split 250 million, the big six. Y'all know what that was all about? Y'all know what that was all about, do y'all? Research it. With all due respect, Malcolm told us about it. They told us to split that little cheese. And then Jesse Jackson got paid too, a point in time, to keep you subjugated. This history. I'm telling you, I got all the documents. This ain't no shabby stuff. This is why I be telling people, I said, have you ever read the Declaration with all the 20 sections? Have people ever that's really researched the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment and understand what manumissions is? Have anybody ever read the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15? Have anybody ever really studied the SF 181 form and looked at that and asked some real questions? When I be telling people, I say, have you ever looked at that? Because when you do things right now today, it's probably everybody on here today that if you got a job or anything you filling out, I bet you with all your might, and you don't have to sit up here and fool me, you pick black from black land or wherever that's from. Tell me I'm not telling the truth. With all due respect, I guarantee you, when you get a job or anything and fill out and it's asked for your ethnicity or your race and everything, I bet you pick black. Am I right or wrong? I bet you your job right now, I bet on your job and all your paperwork it say black. I bet you on your driver's license it say black. So I always ask my brothers, man, I'll be like, wait a minute, man. We shouldn't. The only way it start is with the name, and even when people be misconstrued in the word more, I get that. I can go all the way to Amazigians. I can go all the way to Amazigians, but I get things that's modern. I get that. We can do the whole linguistic test. A person say, well, black, will more mean black in Spanish. I'll be like, no, it don't. Negrito mean black in Spanish, like black beans. So we're not even gonna play that game. Like, so you off already. So that can be over. And then historically and scholastically, you're gonna be off again when we dealing with this Moorish context. You know? So It's nothing to argue about. It's nothing for us to be saying, well, this, not, and the other, or everybody from a certain area of Africa, and the science didn't develop in a certain geographical area, because I'm telling you it did. That's why I said I don't have to keep going scholastically. We can have a conversation, and if people that's in these things, they'll just have to be honest with what they saying. They'll just have to be honest, you know, because I always tell people if something's so good, it shouldn't be no secret to the youth. You should want to bring the youth up, just like the other man, the other color man, and they societies. They got they like junior XYZ, you know, or junior whatever society in. But why we don't have that? They only do it in the fraternities. I'm telling you, and that's why I be saying this is not a game. I said, man, you cannot be arguing about no other man, because the other man took your whole rep and built it. I'm telling you, and threw it back at you, and then you think all the signs and symbols is some Crips and Bloods, and all the signs and symbols belong to you. I keep telling people, I said, look at all the signs that's in Masonry and all the other brotherhoods. The same signs that's in the Crips and Bloods, ain't it? Yep, I know it is. So I don't know what you're talking about. That's why I said, when I tell brothers your pH balance is off. I respect the honesty and the love, but once it's switched to this brotherhood that I'm talking about, it's a wrap. To this understanding, when I talk about this uniting in the right way, not nobody out here with no whole bunch of conspiracy theories, and then they get in trouble and everybody come with all that. Well, this what happened to all the greats. No, man, that stuff cap. You know, this is not no kid. This is not none of that. This is building infrastructure. That's why I say it's a difference. And people, that's why I say when you put people in positions, it's a difference. It's a difference why those should get the different type of attention than the others. And I say the same type of energy and the same type of way that those things are doing it, the right people can do some right things. You know? When I say the same group of people that's doing the right thing can do some of the right things in this perspective. And it be all right. But that's what I be telling people once again. We cannot blame no other man if we can't understand who we are and come to the round table and say who we are. Don't y'all remember T.I. and who was it, Tavis Smiley and Dr. Carnell West? They was having a meeting. Well, what should we call ourselves? And this, and that, and the other. And I respect all elders, but Carnell West teach at Harvard, right? And they act like they don't be knowing none of this. They don't talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. They don't talk about nothing. They don't talk about Empress Gostin Elbe of the Washita, the Hungy High Moors. They don't talk about that. I don't hear, and they don't talk about that in Louisiana, and it wasn't no Louisiana Purchase. Like, so when I be telling our brothers and sisters, I say, no, you got to look within and look at your teachers and your preachers and why it's not being promulgated in those houses and they keeping us subjugated. Because that's not the gospel. That's not the word we teach. And when I say gospels, the gospels is the good news, no matter what you call the good news. If it's saying that you believe in you or whatever manifestation you call it, we can understand that. Why? Because we understand. That's what I'm talking about a brotherhood when people are built up to a certain level. When people are built up to a certain level, you're building yourself up to peace. Remember, I tell you, everybody ism or everybody godness per se is at a certain level until it rise up to a level of peace and you get in certain groups and things that's on that Sufi level and that's on that Tasawwuf level like I am. On that Buddha per se, you know what I mean? And when I say that peace level, would it come from a true understanding of the esoteric, the exo, all the science, all the things within and without, you know? All the crafts. Why? Because all the tools should be in the toolbox, and it's just not for be speaking book wisdom. It's able to apply things and able to manage things, and that's why I tell people this. Like, what do you mean, dude? That's what this society is about. It's to build up man. That's what this is about. It's to build up men and women. Why do our brothers and sisters join Masonries and Eastern Stars? Why? Ask them. I bet you, and I bet you, I know the answer to all of them. So So if you learning something in these halls, which clearly, with no disrespect, I don't think too much learning is going on in the halls of fraternity halls of who you are. Some have, but like the context of what I'm saying with the other student that grows up in the they say other melanation. You know what I'm talking about. They'll know that science about who you are because a lot of they so-called teachers have took your science, studied it like Adam Blavatsky, like how she studied your science to a T. Pascal Beverly Randolph, he was, had a mix, but he was melanated a little bit. But Adam Blavatsky, even Alex Crowley. That's why I be telling people when I be showing things to people, and I be like, I don't think you really, 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 really read what you say you read. Because if you did, because I've studied this stuff and broke it down till its molecule to a little piece of a lint ball that you probably can't see, and then build it all the way back up and say, well, look at this, and it highlights the word to be like, oh, damn, that one word, well, and then we'll let somebody go with their whole dissertation, and then as soon as they finish, we'll say one word, and they'll be like, well, damn, why you let me say all that? Because I don't know who you thought you was talking to. With all disrespect, we'll let you go on that. Why? Because we have time. For you can just go ahead and dig your own thing. You're going to have to put all the dirt on you, clothes and everything on your own. Why? Because you done it to yourself. That's why I be telling people, and people that know me, they'll be like, just give it time. Just give it time. Here it come. Here it come. Why? And it's not like a know-it-all. This is what it is. If we're going to say, well, this is that, and that is this, we can't let nobody disrespect what we have the right to do because somebody else feel a particular way. I don't have no problem with nobody else standing for their rights, for their unalienable rights. But I'm saying you, as a misnomer NBC, that want some form of reparations, no matter whatever the form that you call it. You ain't getting it by identifying as no NBC, and we can close the chapter on that. And if anybody promulgating that, it got to be a COINTEL. That's all I'm saying. Anybody promulgating that's melanated, I don't care if what society they in, a BLACK Panther, a Hebrew Israelite, a Moor, a Back to Africa stuff. I don't care if they got 1 million views, man. It ain't happening. And I ain't saying BLACK ain't beautiful. All colors beautiful. But black is an adjective. Black phone case. Black pool stick. I mean, and then people say more mean black. No, then it'd be black or black. You know? Like stuff, it's not what it is. We have to take the time and do the real research instead of mixing feelings and be like, wait a minute. It is a way to do things. Yeah, how? We don't have to like the law, but I tell people things can be precedent. When I be saying precedent in law cases, doc number, Free Information Act, people are like, what? I say precedent. Things can become precedent. If it's in there, how somebody gonna bring up something and they ain't gonna bring it up for you? That's why I keep telling people, we the people. People be doing things on the wrong manifestation. And I say, just because you fill out something and then turn it in, the paper, the work be right, but everything else is wrong. How? Because you're doing it. I ain't got to say too much, man. I ain't got to say too much. But I'm saying, how can somebody in the same breath push reparations and want and go to court for it, and in the same breath tell you that NBC, Negro colored, or African American, for educational purposes only? How can somebody in the same breath tell you that they down for reparations? How? How can you tell me? And using those words that's synonymous to SLAVE. That in itself is an oxymoron. That in itself is an oxymoron. I ask people this all day. This should be for your kids. I be telling people the next generation, when people say, well, the children in the future, no, they not. Not if the parents ain't teaching them nothing. Not if they getting slap sucker stuff. Not if they stuck in a tablet all day. No, it ain't. They gonna promulgate the same thing you might. When you go on paper, you filling out BLACK, civil mortis. And we're not teaching our kids this, at least for them to be proud to say they not NBC. And we ain't caught that. When you talk about the GEW, anything about that, they'll say anti, but you won't. You okay with being something that's synonymous to a slave. And in the same breath, you say you down with reparations. And then your brother, your cousin, your uncle, somebody they'll tell you, be like, bruh, you need to lose that vernacular. Why that black stuff? You know why? Because according to science and law, BLACK is DEAD. Put DEAD in front of everything you want to call it. Dead family, DEAD this, DEAD company. I mean, if we look at it in that manifestation, we shouldn't want to use nothing that's synonymous to something that we say is so bad. When a person in the same breath would say, well, everything this happened to the SLA, to that population. But then I would say, okay, well, then I think we should give those words away that's synonymous to that type of captivity or to that type of prisoner of war. Because when I say everybody melanated wasn't slaves, but I get that concept of that. Because we can go to WHITE cargo, we can go to they were WHITE and they were slaves. I can go to a whole bunch of more plethora of books. I can go to the so-called melanated African Islamic time when they had a lot of those other people coming from the other country in their harems. So it's a whole bunch of history that no one knows because they haven't had a chance to research it. But if you have someone to say, wait a minute, man, and you down with reparations, that's what you saying, you down with this, that, and the other, and you identify it as an NBC, because I think that's something that I wouldn't have attached to me. And we don't have dialogue. This is I'm saying, if I know and say, damn, I'm not in NBC because all that's synonymous to slaves. Why would I want anything like that attached to me? And I don't have to. Why? Because I have the right of a nationality and the right to change it and to claim a child replaces the birth certificate. I have the right to tell you who I am, and no one can arbitrarily deny who I am. Who? No one. The courts. You have to say. And then when I talk about your status, like people don't even know this, and this is old stuff. This ain't nothing new. I say we willingly, how? By the stroke of a pen. Isn't that ironic? By the stroke of a pen, what? All the stuff that you professing, this why I be laughing at people, because like I said before, I'll let you do all that talking, and then at the end of the day, after you talk all that pro-righteous stuff, and we ain't this and we ain't that, and I say, how you feel out for your job? How you feel out for you think you finna get some taxes or anything that got to do with ethnicity? You feeling out black? You feeling black? Or then a person that think they smart, they say, well, I made a box and put other. No, you didn't. You do that, you voiding the whole damn contract. With all due respect. And so we be afraid to have these conversations. When I say, dude, a lot of stuff people be saying in real life, the inside don't match the outside because they don't sound like what they be professing. I see it all day. They be like, man, how did you do that? I said, they ain't know how I do it. I don't talk to nobody. I don't go make no grand appearance. Got to call somebody, dun, 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 dun. Whatever I want done, it's going to get done. Why? Because I have the right to do it. I act lawfully. What? I just told you. I just told you. I don't have to say it in no other fashion. I don't have to make no grandstand appointment. Certain things that I want to do, I want to do it. I know how to say puns. Say, hey, man, if anybody asks me anything, hey, man, my parents didn't know what I know today. I'm correcting a mistake. But I don't talk to nobody. That's what I'm saying. So if anybody caught what I'm saying, then, and if you didn't, that's on you. That's why things can be done the right way in a proper manifestation. This is what I tell people. You don't have to do nothing that's gonna harm your family. But as a melanated, misnomer black person, it's hard for people to use these things that's synonymous with this or that's to slavery. And the first thing we do is start trying to get mad with each other. Because we'll use the word that a person might use for endearment, But I say in that context, we know good and well it was used derogatory to explain something, some form of things that didn't have no human rights, but had to have civil rights. That the European writer called the NEGRO is a beast. The NEGRO is a beast. And I tell you, NBCs has no standing in law. Now we can play any old kind of game if you want to. That's why in first century that wasn't used as ethnicity. Now we can bring up other things and say, well, what about BLA? Bleak, and they're actually black or bleach. That's not what we're doing. That's a whole nother subject matter. The context of what I'm saying, using these words, if pertaining to reparations and identifying as something that's synonymous to slavery, is the first thing that I see is wrong. And I said you can hire an attorney like Ben Crump and pay him millions and millions of dollars, and no matter how good Ben Crump is, because he's good, he got his own firm, he gonna lose. And I can guarantee you he gonna lose. I can guarantee you he gonna lose, because he know he gonna lose. He probably go in the chambers and they be like, well, you want to drag this out? Well, they paying X amount of dollars, because they gonna be on there in there, talking about the case. You know what I'm talking about? They're gonna be doing a type of vernacular in law. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Cause he know he gonna lose. Cause he no NBC is gonna get no payout for being a SLAVE. Because those are created. The only person gonna get that is the person that created the slave. For educational purposes only. No matter how nobody feel on here. With a lot of people be having titles of this, they black this. I say, okay, I'm not arguing with that. But what I'm saying, in a certain context, you can't say, well, it mean this. And I say, well, what do it mean? Are you that? Are you that identify everything you doing? I'm just asking. I ain't saying nobody can't do these things, but when I'm saying as an identification as a people, when we say, well, we this, we that, man, people was paid to keep us like that, to keep us in subjugation. I mean, you were written in chattel as 3/5. What, NBC were written in that. Why would we want to identify it like that today? And we have our so-called great people and our preachers and teachers and Muslims and Mason brothers and all that, and not teaching this science. Say, hey man, your nationality and spirituality means something. That was taken from you, us, in so-called slavery. We need to correct this. What? This is a mistake. We have the right to correct the mistake. We're not changing nothing. We have a right to connect ourselves to the nations. How? With our national name. If a person teach this right and understand right, it's in the archives of where? Every mayor office. This is what I be telling people. Go to your office, ask them in a nice voice, what would misnomer black people call before the Civil War? I bet you they have it in their archives. I bet you. Because we got it in Flint. Because there's a Morris Science Temple of America in the city of Flint. It ain't operating right, but how it was established and the historicalness of it is there. Still on Martin Luther King Avenue. Still today. Still today. So, I mean, once again, I'm asking brothers and sisters today, I'm throwing it right back at you. Why are we still on this BLACK stuff? And we can't have a conversation. And when a conversation come up of reparations, and I tell everybody on here without a doubt, I can look you in your face and say, identifying as an NBC, you will never get no reparations. Not, I don't care if you hire Ben Crump. That's what I'm saying. I don't care if they had $500 billion for reparations for people that know who they are. Identifying as an NBC, you're not going to get diddly squat. Identifying as something synonymous to a slave. And if anybody can't come on here and say, well, yes, you can, I'll be like, man, see, that's what's the problem. Because people will be trying to defend something that's undefendable. You can't defend something, in the law, you can't defend something that's undefendable. They'll be like, man, get out of here. That's contempt. You here playing. And that's what I be telling people. I said, dude, you can't do that. Not in this, not in something that's supposed to be universal, not something that's supposed to be international. We can't play that. We can't have some people not on board. When we can talk about, but we can talk about the so-called group of people and people say, look, they the $5 Indians. Well, okay, so if they the $5 Indians and they were able to change their nationality, and you say they the other man, But then you in the same voice you say they $5 Indians, and why you ain't use the law the same way they done? See, this what I be talking about. People don't be using their cognitive memory or there is nothing. And I'm saying that like, but a person is portraying you, and you not saying nothing. You saying, look at them, they $5 Indians, I'm the original Indians. Okay, well then you have the right of a nationality. You have the right of your family crest. Who's stopping you? Who's stopping you from organizing in the right way? Who? It's a way to organize. You don't need no stamp or no other man, but it's a way to organize in the proper manifestation to start your organization in your inaugural year, the same way I started the BBT with our charter and our fraternal order, the same way the prophet set up the Moorish Science Temple of America, which is one, the same way my temple and school set up of a brotherhood. We teach science, and I'm a divine minister in real life. So those two going hand in hand, who we are, and then this history that's going to tell us we are a people. That's all I'm saying. It's like, it should be no disrespect, because I know it can happen. And like I said, if it happened in my lifetime, fine. But I love elders, but it's no elder right in here can sit in my face. There's a lot of elders, and they older, they like my pops. I done seen a lot, and I've been able to see a lot. And if I say a couple things, I'll be like, see, they'll be like, well, damn, well, they'll try to say, well, they was right in certain actions, but maybe they'll admit it behind closed doors. But I already done spoke about these things. I already been transparent of how I feel. I love people, with their discourse. But when you put black in front of anything, I cringe. I don't care if it's black Muslims and you got a PhD, I cringe. I don't care you say, yeah, we black and we more than we this, or I'm black and I cringe. You ask me, I'm just saying why. Because I can't, to me, that's anti-wooty-woo, I'm saying it like that for I won't get took off. I believe, to me, you can't call me that. Why? Because I don't identify that. I don't sign on paper like that. So I'm not going to let nobody call me that. No. Heck no, I'm not anti-human. I just know things, from a perspective of nationality and understanding who I am, it's a specific way that we should know who we are based off what can be proven. And I only talk to people that understand a little bit of what I'm talking about, like more science. I ain't saying so said. See, there I be going. I be telling people, people have to be light on my page. Two, all that stuff. Now I told people we don't allow people to speak like that on my platform. I just remove people. But when I tell people about things, I say, listen, I already said it. You have to know these things. You have to know these simple little things so you don't get caught up in certain things. So when I say, why shouldn't we use names like NBC or identify to that? Because those are synonymous to something that's, as we said, slaves, right? In that context. So then again, if you promulgate the science, more science, right? Because more science, I use the Quran as an acronym: knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, and nature. Because you can find all that in the Moorish Quran, because it's a gathering and compiling of the Brahmin text, the Vedas, and some other, different holy books, to unto thee I grant, a lot of different pieces, the Bible, a little bit of the Quran, a lot of things. But then when you look at the compilation, which is about what, 50, 60 pages, I think. Now, what people don't understand is, are like, well, what is the preface of the Moorish Quran talks about? Last time I read the preface of the Moorish Quran, it says the 18 mission years of Jesus' life. Last time I checked. Now, if you don't know that and you call yourself a Moor and all this and you study more science and you don't know the Moorish Quran, that's on you. But I do. That's why I'd be laughing. I'd be like, oh, so what you say you study? And nothing out your mouth be about the Quran. It'd be a whole bunch about some stuff you done heard, some paper or some crazy off the wall stuff. So once again, when I talk about who you are on paper, we cannot, as a people, as Moors, identify that and be having our kids signing anything BLACK because I know that's what's going on. You have to be sure of what you're doing, and you have to be sure. And if you're not sure, then you need to get with a people in a group of body that can make sure you sure. That's what I be telling people. I said, what we have to lose, nothing. I'm telling you, this is the time. I got all the resources. I just need the people. We'll have something. It'll be a beautiful thing. The people are on it. I'm telling you, the first prototype. People have to know this. We cannot have a group of people that just arguing for the sake of arguing and say no that and we no it's not this and we can use this social media platform to pull all these people together. That's why I tell people, if you follow me, man, be respectable. Because if you don't like what's going on, all you have to do is get off of here. I always be talking about the psychosis of people. When people be like, trying to be bullies, I don't care about what nobody's saying. I'm here as a gift, the same way you here as a gift. So if we understand that we both gifts, we should accept it. We should respect each other. And that manifestation, if we both here to learn, because I'm here to learn too. I'm here to learn. I deal with people. This is what I do. I talk to people. I have meetings. I have conferences. I have speaking engagements. So all this stuff is good for me. It should be good for you too, especially if you may have known, or it might be sharpening your tool, or you might be learning something. 9 times out of 10, I'm sure you're learning something. 9 times out of 10, I'm sure you're learning something. And so that's what I tell people. I say, no, you have the right of a nationality. And why should we say we some that's synonymous to slaves? Why should we carry that identity? Why should we carry that and we say all the stuff that happened to those group of people? I ain't say we don't forget about certain things, but I get that. We don't have to identify it to something that's not free. That's what I'll be telling people. All like even in the biblical scriptures, when people be using Deuteronomy to say we all came from here. Okay, well, was so-called Jesus a slave? Well, no. And all this other, when they say the misnomer BLACK, black, the reason why we in bondage, I get all that, but everybody wasn't that. Everybody wasn't brought over on no boat. With all due respect, you know that if you've been in Jamestown. I mean, people know that when you research Hebrew Hill. I got too many documents of people here in the Americas. Like a lot of stuff, man, it's just we cannot identify it to something that's synonymous to slave. And we should not be on here arguing with each other. We should be illuminating, adding value too. That's what I keep talking about, a perfect pentagram to get into a level of peace. Because Moorish science ain't no Islam or overthrowing no government. The Moorish Science Temple of America, which is only one, was created to school. And brothers taught that they went NBCs. That's what that is. Everything else, you have teaching civics and all that stuff. Man, that have to be your expertise, like it's mine and others. And other real skills that so-called sheik that can be a divine minister like I am or anything else can have. That's what I'm talking about. And so how can nationality be the order of the day and people people that look like you don't even understand that, and you ask them more, what's your nationality? They'll say Moorish American. I ask them, what's your race? You will say Asiatic. And I say, what's your status? You will say free white. And then I look at you real weird in your face, and I say, what again? And you'll say free white, Brother Bay. And I say, okay, well, let me see how you fill out your paperwork and all that. And right on your paperwork, you fill out BLACK. But just in the same voice, I ask you, do you see the psychosis of what I'm saying, Brother Bay? I know what I'm saying is true because I done seen it a plethora of times. I'll be like, all the stuff that you profess, and you would just, like you say, sacrifice everything, not only you and your offspring. Do you understand what I'm saying? How? You just did it. I'm using it in that context. This is how simple it is. When a person say, man, they can use their own stuff for you, they'll be like, okay, well, I ain't did nothing to you. How? You willingly did this. You was a willing obligor. How? Because look how you signed. You doing all that barking and huffing and puffing, talk about duress. Ain't nobody make you sign nothing. They said, here go the piece of paper, sign everything that's pertaining to you. You filled it out and put Never Never Land, Black Never Never Land. You filled that out. They ain't have no sergeant at arms around you with things, to you. It's like, if you don't sign this way, we gonna make you, go to Never Never Land. Did they? No. I promise you. So if people say and know these things, and I said, what you say, your nationality is what? Your race is what? Your status is free white. If that's what you say and agree, I said your status is free white, and you understand white by law. It's a PhD document called White by Law. I told everybody I'll give it to you. You got to read things, you got to study things, and look at things with a sharp eye. Not because you follow some more and you like the music and all that stuff. No, you got to follow for the wisdom. To be like, wait a minute, like let me look at this. Wait a minute, because if we say we more than all that, and the more Shine Temple and this all it over, why it ain't been national? What we doing wrong? What we doing wrong? When people come here to take an amnesty oath, think about it. Why we don't have to take no amnesty oath? Because they don't want you to be. Think about what I'm saying. See, we don't got our thinking caps on. When you put your thinking cap, I told y'all this is the united. I'm here to unite. Why we don't have to do an amnesty oath? When people come in here, they got to take an amnesty oath, don't they? Don't they? We ain't taking no amnesty oath. But we do in our societies, in our spiritual societies, which we have the right. And then you claim who you are. That's the what? The 2/5 that was taken from you from so-called slavery, your nationality, your spirituality. You have the right to do things in the proper manifestation. In the proper manifestation. So I'm asking again. It's like, how can I don't see no other way, family. For a person to say that they down with reparations and identify as something that's synonymous to slaves and won't step up, what are we talking about, man? That's all I'm saying. Is like, to even, I don't care what religion you are. Like, you telling me we that naive? Not to be like, wait, be like, hold on, what's going on? This don't make sense. I just told y'all our status is white. Status. I ain't say I'm no white man. As I said, status, white by law. What you mean? I'm giving you, I tell a person to research things, move prejudice, read some things, dissect some things. When you see some words, you're gonna pick up some things if you have a little tittle of interest in what you're doing. If you're not going in there with your heart hardened like Pharaoh, but if you're going into this open-hearted with an open mind, be going as a person that's a researcher and looking for love, because this is what this is supposed to be, you would be able to open that science up and be like that white by law and highlight some things and be like, oh, snap. And then you would come back and be like, well, yeah. You'd be like, yep. And then I say, how you sign it? You can't be a more signing black. With all due respect, for educational purposes only. That's all I'm saying. Or it's contradicting anything you're saying, and you're not sure. And right now, I'm not saying everyone on here. I bet you it's a handful of people on here that's identify as more with L's or Bays, or understand what I'm saying. They identify as NBC. Because I hear a lot of people that say they not a more. I said more don't got to mean how you operating like that. More is what you are by birth. Because you're not NBC or black, you free. I'm telling you. So when we get into other adjectives and we get into other explanations, but the aspect that I'm saying is, I don't see why we have a problem with agreeing to something and then going on as a collective saying, this is who we are. So now when things are filled out, it ain't no so-called NBCs. That's when it's going to be a shift. Where'd all the NBCs go? All the NBCs have woke up. They feeling out white. When you look at the SF-184-1 form, tell me what white mean. That's all I ask people. I say, get the SF-181 form and tell me what white mean. Matter of fact, read it all. I bet you most people didn't read it all. As soon as you see black, that's what you go to. Anything through in your face and they say, well, fill out your ethnicity or your race and all that. You see black, you pick it. And the person that say they are more all the time. I seen this all the time. And then the first thing you do, you be is afraid. And I say, nobody can tell you who you are. No one. You're supposed to have the confidence. You put and your map and your guide exudes the confidence and give you the confidence. Why we can't have a person that's sure like myself to be leading our people to righteousness? Because I love all people, but I love who I am and I love my people, and I have the right to promulgate what I'm doing. This is what I'm saying. Why? Because I already got my own charter. That's why I know. That's what I know. I'm already been anointed and consecrated. That's how I know. And I don't speak ill of nobody. I keep telling y'all, the other man respect who I am. They don't have no problem with what I'm doing. They say, well, at least you woke up, sheep. But your people have to jump on board. You have the right. I know I do. And when it's being the right way, when it can be proven from historically on any perspective, I don't have a problem. I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it. We're not going against nobody's spirituality or nobody's history. You know, I mean, I just like to clear things up because no one's going to tell me nothing outside of myself. You know, I'm not telling nobody what to believe in. I say I'm made in the image of the Creator. Whatever you believe the Creator is, whatever you believe in, that's what I'm made in the image of. Hell, I'm not arguing with no one. I know what I promulgate. I know the XO and the SO. But when it comes down to who we are as a people, man, we got to agree to who we are. If we don't, it'll never happen. And if we can't, we can't, or I'm gonna agree to disagree. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I asked people clearly. I said we can't be good. We can't be using these. We black this. We the black Hebrew lights. We the black fraternities. We the black Masons. No, we not. You got to get out of that. You not. I'm telling people, man, and that's why to this day, I look at anybody that used those words at BLACK. That's something wrong to this day. And I don't blame James Brown for making the song. You know, I don't blame him. I blame others for the lack of knowledge, not knowing how that song will blow up. Because didn't nobody like being called BLACK in certain times? I'm telling you, when I tell you people things, people don't know the whole subject idea. Just like when I be talking about Willie Lynch, and y'all heard that at the Million Man March, and I tell anybody in their face that it was fake. That was premeditated to get people subjugated in that. And then rappers rap about it, but I say it's fake. Will it still make no? It's fake. Well, that's still how BLACK. No, it's fake. It's fake, man. It's fake, fake, fake. You've been programmed to think that it's fake. We ain't the BLACK people wasn't no worse off doing nothing to their own people than other people. They just ain't do no stats on the other people. And what they did do the stats, they just ain't put it in the forefront. How I know this? Because I know. I keep telling y'all, all this stuff is written and recorded in the archives. You just don't know. I'm telling you what I know. Everything I'm talking about is in the real archives. Everything I talk about on record, what? You have the right of a nationality and the right to change it. I always tell people to look up the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. If this stuff is in the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, that says you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it, you need to be turning around looking at your people like, why you keep promulgating some Indian stuff and all that? Why you don't tell the truth? To be like, no, you an American. You an American. You ain't from, you indigenous to this land. It's plenty tribe and all that. But in this context, come on, man. You got to understand what I'm saying. I hope anybody will take the chance to just research a little tittle. Because if you promulgating that black stuff and you got a degree and you call yourself educated and you wear a bow tie and all that, the bow tie don't make us wise. None of that stuff make us wise. The truth make us wise. The study make us wise. You know, to understand it, to be like, wait a minute, yeah, let me clear this up. Because if you want reparations and you promulgate some NBC stuff, then dude, you promulgate something that'll never happen. And if you've been educated on that today and still promulgate that, those are the individuals that's part of the problem. You know? With all due respect. Peace, Marquise. And I'm not disrespecting no one. I'll be like, dude, how? Because my other colleagues will tell you what the other man will. I keep telling y'all, the other man that's Scottish, right? Amazing, that sons of Muslims, they will laugh. They ain't afraid to be a son of a Muslim. And people, that's why I keep telling people. I'll be like, dude, I'll be like, man, I think y'all missing something. You know, I'm talking about something so simple. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you got a Moore or L or anything after your name right now. I bet you filled out any paperwork for you and your kids, BLACK. I bet you. And then I ask everybody, pull up the SF-181 form on your phone. Pull up the SF-181 form on your phone. Watch this. Yeah, we got a little bit more time. I keep telling y'all, man, we played ourselves. And I be right here and I say, man, I stand in anywhere. And I done did this in college and got a standing ovation, you know, in academia. And when I teach this to my people, it don't blow up. It be like, well, yeah. I said, man, something wrong with us. Something wrong with us. I'm telling you, we close to getting our physical temple. I'm telling you, man, we close. We close. We close, man. And I'm telling you, we have spiritual classes on Sunday, history classes on Friday, book club on different days, martial arts, physical fitness, mentoring, arts and crafts. I'm telling you, auto mechanics. Why? Because I have the connection on all that. Kids know how to work on computers and all that. They'll be working on code and all that. Why? Because I love all that. You just have to find a skill, not just playing no game, but have a skill. Fashion design, all that. Everybody get a taxes and receipt. I'm telling you, we close. We close. We close. I done saw a building and everything, a good price. We close. As I keep fundraising, we close. But if everybody saw the SF-181 form, right? When you see this, it says the ethnicity and race identification. Now listen closely. Now if you're rocking with me, talk to me. Say, yeah, if you be like, yeah, if you heard this before, then you should be like, you already should have been like, yep. Or I don't understand. Because we have to understand. We can't agree to disagree. We cannot do this. We can't agree to disagree. We cannot do that. We can't walk out the door and be like, well, I like his antics better than his antics, so he won. That's not this. That's not this. This is what I'm giving you is, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, this is a warning and a gift. Right now I'm coming from the holy breath. So you got to accept what I'm saying if you're righteous. If not, it's going to, torch those fingertips. So that's what I'm saying, because you can't arbitrarily explain what I'm saying. So ethnicity and race identification. Please read the Privacy Act statement and instructions before completing the form. Most people don't read. I did this when I was lecturing at GCU. I had a piece of paper, had some mathematical equations on there. On the top of it, I said, just sign your name and turn it in, you get an A. Everybody sat in there and done the work. Everybody was cracking up. The people that was reading it, I told them to stop. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was like, what? All like 17 of them were like, what? And like 4 people were like, nothing. And they were like, dang, that was an easy test, wasn't it? I said, yep. I said, you see how I'm saying people don't read? They'll profess a whole bunch of stuff and look at you like they're crazy, but you won't even take the time to read. And that's how simple it is. People don't read contracts. People don't read nothing. But then they'll come and tell you and try to explain something. I'm telling you what I know, man. I see it all the time. So watch this. If you rocking what I'm saying, say, yep, I'm rocking with you. I'll proceed. Listen clearly. Your name, your last name, your social security number, your birth, agency use. Now listen to this. You got the Privacy Act statement, ethnicity and race information is requested. I didn't say required. Requested under the authority of 42 USC Section 2000 E16 and compliance with the Office of Management and Budgets 1997 revisions to the standard for the classification of federal data on race and ethnicity. Providing this information is voluntary and has no impact on your employment status. Okay, listen clearly. But in the instance of missing information, your employee agency will attempt to identify your race and ethnicity, listen to this, by visual observation. I hope y'all caught what I'm saying, y'all. I'm telling you, that's what I be telling people. I said, and I tell a person, if you read and you rock with me, and you want to write, and you'll be like, man, we done messed up. Yeah. That's why I said nobody's gonna tell you this but me. Let's proceed. But in the instance of missing information, your employee agency will attempt to identify your race and ethnicity by visual observation. So they can look at you and say, oh, well, his skin is color, he's this. Or all the skin ain't that color, he's not that. That's by what they think they see. So I hope you caught that little tittle. This information is used as necessary to plan for equal employment opportunity throughout the federal government. It is also used by U.S. Office of Personnel Management of Employee Agencies, maintaining the record to locate individuals for personal research or a survey. When we talk about the, what goes around every couple years, the census, watch, and production of summary, descriptive statistics, the census, that's what that is, right? And analytical studies in support of the function for which the records are collected and maintained. There's like the census for whatever is collected and maintained, that's what it's for. Or for related workforce studies. Social security numbers is requested under the authority of Executive Order 9397, which requires Social Security numbers to be used for the purpose of uniform, orderly administration of personal records, providing the information is voluntary, and failure to do so will have no effect on your employment status. If Social Security number is not provided, however, other agency sources may be used to obtain it. Now, listen clearly, because we can't agree to disagree no more. You just got to say you don't understand, and I respect it, and I teach later. We can continue to build. Specific instructions. The two questions below are designed to identify your ethnicity and race. Regardless of your answer to question 1, go to question 2. Regardless of your answer to what I just said, question 1, go to question 2. Okay, question 1, are you Hispanic or Latino? Question mark. A person of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central American or Spanish culture or origin, regardless race. And you know, when people be saying the more than Rue Spain, and then when I tell you Stanley Poole, a European scholar, how come he didn't? You know? Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. I know people be jumping on my page. I be pushing buttons, man. I did not mean to try to invite whoever this person is. But if you jump on here, man, I have to cut it off because I pushed it. But I just hope people get a clear understanding of what I'm saying, man. I really do. I really hope y'all look at this, what I'm saying, this SF 181 form, and when it gets to the specific part of racial category, and it asks you American, Indian, or Alaskan, and then you can read that, right? Then you can read Asian, but then when I read you black, this is what black means. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. I don't know any. So then let's look at what white mean and listen clearly. White, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. You know the Middle East is Africa, Northeast, Southwest Africa. You know that. The original people of Europe. You know who the original people of Europe is? I show you what the ancient amount of Britain is. I show you what the Corsica flag is. Like, I show you history. I can show you in the One World Tartarians what was in certain areas. The coat of arms and the family. I can show you these things historically, so it shouldn't be no argument. So once again, I just showed you your ethnicity in this context. I hope you're not filling out a BLACK. I hope you're filling out WHITE. If you have a clear understanding, because I asked you when they say black or African American, those two are synonymous to slaves, and they know that. So you would be willingly, as a willing obligor, admit that you are SLAVE. How? Because you would start, that's how you assign. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Tell me some, because I don't know none. With all due respect, I don't know none, family. And I told y'all, man, today, I just think I'm not going to tolerate this, man. We should be resurrecting our teachings and who we are. You know, we should be resurrecting the science, not being afraid to have these spiritual conversations and talk about who we are as a people, because our nationality and our spirituality go hand in hand. I'm telling y'all, man, we not made to be no SLAVE. I'm made in the image of the Creator. So I don't care how nobody else feel like that. And I know the Creator didn't make me as no SLAVE. Now you can believe in anything with that pro stuff and say, well, yeah, we all for some slaves, but not me. And the only way we're going to get some things and have certain freedoms, at least we should want to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Just like if a certain person said they wouldn't want the money, I will respect that. But at least you should want to be able to be identified as a people and not synonymous to some that's a slave. And you be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Because I thought we were supposed to all have life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness. And all man was created equal in the eyes of God. So you telling me you're not a man? Because man is made out of the Creator. So you can't be a man. That's what I'm saying. Why? Because the Creator didn't create slaves. He made things in His image. That's why I keep telling people the simplicity of certain things. I say, why would we identify to something that somebody created and use the vernacular of NBC to identify as a SLAVE, brothers and sisters? And we all know that. No matter if you don't like my small affairs, no matter if you don't like my glasses, no matter if you don't like my mathematical equation, no matter if you don't like nothing, at the end of the day, as a people, I think we should see beyond those things and get to saying something like, man, this man been teaching us the right spirituality, not dissing nothing, and who we are as a people. Those are the 2/5 that was taken from us. Because once you have clear understanding of whatever you're doing, you should be able to rock with the growth of who you are. You should be able to bring people to the storehouse and say, this is what we're doing. Why? We're going to get this. This is what we're going to go to. This is what's going on. As we go farther with us as a people, the kids will get involved. The kids will be able to spread the message as well to say, no, we're not this dad and mom, and we're not going to identify as things that's going to be synonymous to slaves. We're going to be able to have these conversations and bring these things up, you know, in certain areas to say, no, this got to be took out. Because how you got immunity when a BLACK person is took out? You hear every time a BLACK person is took out by the other man with the blue on or whatever color they have on. You see a lot of times they have immunity. You can talk about hit their oath and all that, blave splee. You know, they have immunity. I'm telling you, on certain things, and we don't know this, we have to change the paradigm. We have to give all that back. You have the right It ain't telling you take this SF-180 form, and if your skin this color, pick black. It didn't say that, did it? But it did say if you fill it out and you don't fill it all the way out, your employer is going to fill it out based on how you look, didn't it? It didn't say fill this out, and if your skin melanated, you put BLACK, never never land. I done told Morris, I said, y'all got to stop playing with me. Y'all the ones is playing on the internet and not being who you are in real life. Y'all playing, not me. Because you filling out stuff BLACK. You doing that. You know you doing that. Why? Because you afraid. Because you don't know the truth. You can't explain it in the right way. You're not being disrespectful. I just showed you what white mean. I just showed you what black mean on the SF-181 form. Then I tell you, if you don't have white by law from academia, from scholarship, I said I email it to you for you can read it and study it. And then we can come have dialogue. But if you haven't read it and studied it and pondered on it and asked questions, then you can't have an intellectual conversation on this with me. It's going to be everything you heard, and I made it as plain as possible. I just read misnomer black or African, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. And I said, where's that? I don't know. And then I said white, a person having origins in any original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So we know who the original people of the Europe is. I hope you know. They asking you. And I said, who do you think the original people of Europe is? Who? The original people. The Middle East or North Africa. So you know Middle East is Africa. And then when I show you all the European scholars like Adar and Bertram Thomas, that wrote this stuff, and they talk about you. I even can talk about the Russian scholar Vladimir Dale, his definition of an Arab, and it's spelled ARAP, a melanated individual. That's why I'd be laughing. I'd be like, come on, man, we messed ourselves up. Certain contexts and certain things we have to understand. So the last thing I said is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So are you black or African American, or in this context, or are you WHITE? Come on. All you got to do is see if you have enough confidence to make a solid choice. Because how somebody gonna tell you what you not? How somebody that's work behind the glass, that's a regular clerk, gonna look at your paper and work and say, oh, you filled it out, you filled it out wrong, take it back. How? Tell me. Tell me. And then if you know, and then if you understand anything, and if it's a certain Holy Spirit that's rocking it, you should be the Holy Spirit. You ain't gonna have no issue on handling no type of business anyway. I'm telling you what I know. This is what I'm telling you to know, the confidence in things, because you're not doing nothing wrong, you're doing everything right. You're not trying to overthrow nothing. You ain't trying to say you take nothing. You're correcting things to be corrected. And so the first thing I just said, when I said on the SF-180 form and it said black or African American, and I already told you, NBC, all synonymous to SLAVEs, right? And then on the form is a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. I say, which one? Because I don't know none. But you also got Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Somalia, or other Pacific Islanders. In our Morris Quran, this is the uniting of Asia, right? What is that? Chapter 25 in our Morris Quran, if I'm not mistaken, the uniting of Asia. But here we go, we get to WHITE, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So which one are you? Are you WHIT or BLACK? That's where I leave it. And watch everybody say, well, are you saying I'm all right? That ain't, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Some words have synonyms. I'm throwing it right back at people because when I'm showing you how we playing ourselves. And I ask people, which one would you fill out? Because it's in your face every day. Which one would you fill out? What would you have your kids fill out? I just want to see what the outcome would be. Or if anybody say anything as we close. My homie, he said, man, you is right on. He said, well, I know I'll pick said such before until I got, yep, I know, and I'm glad you're honest. He was like, all he said, all I'm gonna be is honest, Sheik. I know, that's all we should be. That's all we should be. And you know what I mean? Because if we care and all this stuff and we promulgate something on social media, it's the right way to do things. And right now we're doing it the wrong way. Complaining about how things are being taught. And then I ask people with children, well, who's teaching your kids seventh hour? Because I know all my European Jewish colleagues, they go to seventh hour. I know they do it. Now they got their own elementaries and high schools, so they teaching their own. But before that, I say, who's teaching your kid? That's why I said, wait till we get this physical temple and I have these classes and parents that live in different states. I have lessons on laptops, you know, and the kids will be able to log on at certain times and do the lessons. I know how to program all this. I know how to have art class. My mother, an artist. It's a lot of things that I'm able to do. Help kids read and all that. How? Physically here or satellite wise. The same process can be done in-house or outside of the house. And that's what I be telling our parents. I said, it ain't no structure. You know? It ain't no structure. And so I hope people understand what I'm saying. You know? I bet you people can look at that and see would they be honest of how they fill that out. I want to see if anybody will say on here how they filled it out. Did you fill it out as WHITE or did you fill your documents out BLACK? Because it's on its own paperwork when you fill it out. And I'm asking brothers that identify as Moors, not NBCs. So how many people will fill BLACK instead of WHITE? That's all I'm asking. And I want to see how many people will be honest and be like, well, yep, she, not only, you saying it now, you have, and it's still valid today, right now. And I say, I know, thank you for being honest. But but do you know how to correct those things? Because you have the right to say, hey, a mistake has been made. I always tell people, man, when you have what you have the right to annex, you have a right to annex your suffix. I mean, the things I can talk about is so simple. I keep telling people your religious rights trump everything. Why would you want to give your religious rights away? Why? Why? Because you don't have a clear understanding. Why would you want to give one of your freedoms away? You have no understanding. You have no understanding of these things. That's why I say most average brothers, they'll be okay with identifying as a NBC. I hope people catching what I'm saying. And this simple thing, I ask people, would you fill out BLACK or WHITE? And I know if people to be honest, they'll have to honestly say that they filled out or WHIT. I mean, not WHIT, BLACK, without a doubt. And be on social media talking all that, they more this and all that, but they are filling out as something that's synonymous to slaves, and they filling their kids out the same way, and not really realizing that. I'm telling you, to where it'll all be meaningless. And it'll be and I hate to say it like that. Why? Because it is. Because it's all meaningless. Everybody know I'm legit. At least people can be like, well, man, let me be part of Bro Temple in the school. Temple and schools have ID to identify. It don't overthrow nothing. I have my ID from the temple, my membership ID, my travel ID, my tax exempt ID, all my DAP papers. I show that all the time. It don't mean it don't change nothing. Don't take away for me. I can't take that and drive with it. I won't want to do that. I ain't trying to use that as overthrow nothing. It's part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It don't replace nothing. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm telling people is, I said, dude, we can't operate like that, y'all. We can't operate in no fugazi way. We can't operate in no way to where it's gonna get nobody in trouble. We can't operate in that way where we afraid to seek counsel. I'm telling y'all, because if y'all want to be a part of something, be a part of something that's real. Your ID don't replace nothing. Now, if you lose something and you rocking legit, and they say, man, well, I got my temple and school ID. I'm part of this school, whatever. You know, I'm part of this spiritual house. You know, and we do have member ID. Well, if they look at it and it matches against you, would they let you use it? Yeah. 9 times out of 10, they will. It's depending on you navigating. You ain't trying to prove no point. You ain't trying to prove no point. And then say if you got to go pick up a package or something, they say, oh man, you got the ID. You like, oh damn. And you say, I got my temple ID. They were like temple, the synagogue, whatever. You think it's your words, church, school, whatever. Oh, okay, let me see. They look at it this, yep, okay, here you go. You understand? You ain't doing nothing wrong. They just want to see your face. So what I'm saying, certain things should be done the right way because you have right to do certain things in the right way if you understand and it's done the right way. I promise you. And I'm right here to show y'all, man. Those that understand what I'm showing you, I can show you things that's written, but I challenge you to research the SF 181 form. I challenge you to research white by law. I challenge you to research those things. Because if nationality is the order of the day, you got to explain that to me because I get it. I know how it can be done, but it ain't gonna be done when people willingly to do this and act like it don't matter. I say, well, there you have it. We screwed. Why? Because collectively we can't even go to the next level. And collectively, as Moors that's supposed to know what we talking about, to know that we're not NBCs, and to know our nationality is Moorish American, knowing our race is Asiatic, knowing our status is free white. And when I break these simplicities down, you ain't agreeing with me. You ain't being like, yep. So I don't know what the problem is. How? How can nationality be the order of the day? And I'm making it so simple. And I'm telling people, I'm showing you. I said, who told you this 14th Amendment got to do with us? I'm showing you. I'm showing you what the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. I'm showing you what the religious rights of the indigenous people. I can show you everything. I've been doing it, and we still ain't came in yet. We still ain't came in yet. I keep telling y'all, we can have a whole body. I got a blueprint. I got a whole blueprint. But first, we got to take the Scooby-Doo mask off the people that's promulgating the Fugazi. That got a motive, that might took an oath. With all due respect, you can't be mad at me. I'm just telling you, I know brothers that done took an oath, and we only can deal with them a certain way, unless they admit what's going on, which I'm already know anyway. And sometimes you can't build with those individuals. Why? Because that's just how it goes. I keep telling people it ain't about nobody else. Nobody else outside us can destroy what we got going on but us. Can nobody destroy us but us? Understand that it happened to Patrice Lumumba. It happens to everyone. You know? It happened with the Panthers. I show y'all brothers, COINTELPRO, they got that destroy whole movements. I tell people about Ron Karenga when everybody be like, oh, Kwanzaa is for some us other people. Kwanzaa, that was started by Ron Karenga, a COINTELPRO. We don't even know all this. But this is what I be saying, man, can nobody stop what's right? And I'm telling you as a people, we're not NBCs, no matter how nobody want to feel about it. And the only way us Moors is going to be there to change things if we all come together and give those things that's synonymous to slave back. We got to give it back. And I just broke down what would you fill out on that SF 181 form, black or white. And most people on here, they fill out black. And it ain't no such place. And then when I read white and it talks about you on there, and then it says some Middle East, and it ain't no such thing as no Middle East with all due scholarship perspective. When they talk about the original people from Europe, who you think they talking about the original people from Europe? That's why I be telling people, I said, I don't care how nobody feel about what I'm saying. Man, we can go all in the archives and show you people done. It was always the DEATH of the BLACK Messiah, always. And all through history, you can find the melanation of the nations. So it's meaningless to me because they scholars are going to agree with me every time. Every time. They rabbis will agree with me. You know, they Islamic scholars agree with me. Why? Because I got the literature. That's why people they act like they don't know. But then when you give them their literature, the literature you can't go wrong with it. Because it's going to trump everything they saying. You say this is what you about. Well, this trumps what you saying. If not, then we just own what I call spookism, and I'll operate on that level. But on this level, y'all, as like I said, I got to get out of here. I've been on here for a minute for reparations and all that, and who we are as a people. We got to understand who we are. We got to understand who we are, and we can't be signing our name that's synonymous to slave, and then on here in the same voice talk about some reparations, because we gonna lose. And if we got anybody doing that, we lost. I'm telling you, we lost by default. So we gotta show all that already, y'all. We got to call all them out that feel that type of way and have dialogue to say, explain that stuff, and we'll let them do they discourse or whatever with all they bullets, whatever, and then I come. It won't even take me nothing about 15 minutes to show why. No way would somebody come with that. They got to be against the whole movement, and we'll see what's the real. Cause something is wrong when people talk about the other man ain't doing nothing. The other man waiting for us to stand up by our bootstraps. We just want some welfare. I don't want no welfare. I keep telling y'all, and that's where your reparations going to. Well, welfare, cheap houses, Obama phones, Medicaid. I'm trying to tell you. That's what they give to me. That's why they do the census, and they want in neighborhoods, and they want you to fill out NVC. That's why all in the urban neighborhoods it be burnt up houses and people still paying property taxes. Why you got to live in a misnomer BLACK neighborhood and people paying property taxes and this burnt up houses? Like, huh? We shouldn't be paying. Well, not we, but they shouldn't be paying no property taxes because you identifying as something that's synonymous to SLAVE. I'm telling y'all, man, it's deeper than what we think. It's way deeper than what we think. And it is that simple. And people don't even know it. It's that simple. And I tell us, man, we gotta, those ones that's on that BLACK black stuff, we got to flash the lights on them. Like when you do with those little bitty, insects that be in people's house, and they have to come out, and we have to do that work, because that's what's happening. As I close, that's exactly what's happening right now with this movement. When it comes down to so-called reparations and doing this and identifying as a people, that's the holdup. I'm telling you, anybody that understands civics and what I'm talking about, no matter what color they are, if they're a scholar and educated, they'll be like, this man is 100% facts. Why? Because I already did it in academia. That's it. The religion is not going to get it. When you got baptized, you with the religious SLAVE with a certificate. The misnomer, the BLACK slave thought they was going to take that certificate to the courts, and now it's going to make them free. Man, they said, well, you still not. I'm telling you what I know. So now today, y'all, we got to call them brothers into the light that say, well, we black this and we the black this and we the black this and we the black Masons and we the black Muslims. No, we not. We not the black. No, we not, y'all. And if that's what we promulgate still to this day, there you are. There you have it. We stuck. I ain't saying a lot of the stuff is not right, but when we identify and when we using those things to identify as a people, we're saying we are this, we screw, and we using names that's synonymous to slave. We have to get that back, and we have to have the confidence of giving that back. Even when Malcolm got into his higher self, he was knowing those terms wasn't right to identify. Even Brother Malcolm, and he's telling us still today we afraid. Why, y'all? Why are we afraid to give those things back? Why the preacher afraid to do it? Why the brothers that's supposed to be the righteous for? Why they afraid to do it? And Noah Ali gave it, and all them people that talk about Noah Ali, Farrakhan. Everybody say Noah Ali taught a certain type of Islam to us to show us we're not NBCs. Well, if that's the case, why we can't give it back now? I love y'all, man. I'm out. Thank y'all for listening to me, man. We trying to build this brick and mortar, man, and I just want y'all spirit with me. No matter if y'all can donate or not, I don't care if that's your time, just sharing it. We know we looking at a building in the city of Flint. It's gonna cost about 150, I think, 180. But we doing some good things. I'm gonna show y'all pictures of it. But we doing some good things as we continue to make it happen. I always want to get things in ownership because I don't want debts or mortgages. So it's giving me some time. I know that no one's going to get it but me because the only person going to bring something in the city is me. I'm just keeping it honest on that level because all the churches is closing, all of them, because they ain't who I am. The kids don't want to go to that. I got something different. But I looked at it, need a little bitty tiny work, just some cleaning up because it's been sitting for about a year. Been sitting for about a year, but it's not too big, not that small. And as we doing things, people donating. I'm giving people tax exempt receipts. I'm gonna be talking at an event coming up, a black tie event coming up in a couple months. But I'm also going to my alma mater, Clear University, and talk to them about that. When I'm going, so and see can I get some donations. But that's what we got going on. You know, that's what we got going on. So, like I said, just keep that in your spirit, man. Like I said, it was close to 100 and something plus. Like I said, we doing the work. I just want people to be able to see somebody do something and be able to be a part of this and have a front seat, no matter how you help. No matter if you donate, no matter if you get books from me, but you will be able to have a front seat to be like, man, this brother did that. And then if you want to start helping, assisting, monetary and other ways, y'all know all my information is in my bio. All my information is in my bio. But yeah, man, but we found a nice little spot. Like I said, it's just gonna be contingent on a lot of these people that I'm rocking with, and I'm rocking with some amazing people, man. Let me show y'all something. If I can see it. It's a nice spot. What he say? Oh, I got you, bro. Let me see. And it's a nice spot, not too big, not too small, right in the neighborhood. What happened? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's a nice little spot, but see, we'll change all that. The brick spot is the older spot. This aluminum sign spot is the new spot. They built on it, but it's not too far here. It's an elementary school right across the street. Down the street is an old elementary called Sobey Elementary, which they turned into a boys and girls club. So I went in it, met the person. It's nice inside, but it's been sitting for a year, and they wanted 120,000 for it. But like I say, ain't nobody gonna bring nothing to the city in Flint, so I'm gonna wait as the property depreciate. Cause like I say, I got a lot of people that's rocking with me, man. That's gonna be stakeholders and donate and give them taxes and receipt. Cause I teach tax law, and I got a lot of people that instead of them giving their money to Uncle Sam, they donate to me, and I give them a taxes and receipt. Cause they want to see what we do happen. And I tell everyone we have the right to do that, but it won't change no one life, you know? That's why everybody can get a taxes and receipt to claim of your taxes. So you don't be double dipping. You'll be like, no, I donate to my religious and charitable contribution of my choice. And look what, collectively, when everybody donating, look what we can do. Because everybody's stakeholders. So this is the potential first one. I take a lot of certain things off. Like I said, it just needs some tender love and care. It's not too big and it's not too small, but it's right across the street from elementary where I spoke at, the Boys and Girls Club down the street. Nice community, man. And like I said, it's, you know, that's one potential. But that's what I'd be saying when my vision and other people's vision is different. Like, I don't have no vision of being no YouTube sensation. And like, I want to get fancy things and all that. No, like, my vision is to be a teacher, to be a dignitary in a neighborhood, to be a map and a guide, a counselor, you know, to be a big brother, to be all that in a community where a lot of our kids come from single mom homes. I just watched a little Tubi movie that the people made, and the little Tubi movie, it was sad. I don't know if it was a Tubi, but they made it in Flint, in the neighborhood where everything messed up, and all the kids come from broken homes. And one boy saw his dad getting beat up, and all they were seeing is gunshots. This was it. It was shot in the city of Flint, and none of them had no daddies, none of them had no daddies. And I'm like, oh, I see the disconnect. I see it. So I don't want to move away and have things all far away. I want to ingest myself and inject myself in a community where still today, where I can see the need, because there's a lot of kids in single homes. It's a lot of kids who that's living with their mamas. There's a lot of kids living with their grandparents, and it's a whole bunch of kids in foster care that go to these schools. How I know? Because I worked in that field. I still do my own counseling on my own. That's why I'm telling people. I said, man, I know what we can do. It's needed. But with that being said, man, like I said, y'all keep me in y'all spirit, man. Like I said, my information is in my bio. How anybody want to help or just send some positive vibration, say, man, I hope everything go for you. Because it ain't just about money with me. It's about vibration. Because money is not earned, it's given. I understand that, and when you're doing the right thing, things happen in the right way. So I just ask for y'all, man, for my will and y'all will, if y'all rocking with me, for this to manifest and put some good vibrations in for me at night, on some positive vibration, whatever your voodoo is. I mean, if you rocking with me, that's the least you can do for me because it makes sense. And y'all all invited. And everybody got the chance to be stakeholders of what we doing. Cause it's gonna be amazing, man. Cause I got a whole library. I know how to get computers. It's a lot. It's a lot that we're gonna be able to do, and we're gonna be open to the people. We're gonna change the whole community, and it's gonna be a blueprint, you know. But once again, man, yeah, y'all keep me in y'all spirit, and thank y'all once again. That's the mission. That's what I'm doing right now. I got a couple, like I said, I got a couple more buildings I just want to look at, cause the whole city for sale, like literally the whole city for sale. And so I be telling people when calamity, when war per se, that's the time to buy. It's just like if it was a stock market thing going on, and a person be like, it's time to buy. And I'm trying to tell people like, in the city of Flint is indigenous area. Most of the streets is named after so-called Indians, Iroquois, Seneca, Chippewa. The land is so good. It's so many acorn trees, you know, you know what I'm saying? And so that's all I want to be saying about what I'm doing here as in the States. My mission, which I showed y'all, to get a builder, to get infrastructure. Because just like a medicine man, if you deal with Credo Matua, like a medicine man is a person that can be able to teach math, science, all those things, can go to a certain area and come back and resurrect his people. The same way Haile Selassie did when he brought those Abyssinians to America and got that education, and they went back and became leaders and dignitaries in their community. It's the same thing what I'm showing y'all I can do. Because the conspiracy to destroy misnomer black boys and girls is still going on. So that's why I said if y'all don't look me up and look at my bio and see how y'all can donate, you know, and 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 see how you can rock with me, at least keep me in your spirits, y'all. At least keep me in your spirits, and because I want this to manifest. This has been something I wanted to do so long for the people, and the spirit showed me. It was like, hey, you definitely can do this for the people. It'll take time, and it's taking the right time because, like I said, right now it's so much things that can be taken over, and the world never ends. The world shifts, and the world is at a shift right now. I promise y'all, the world is at a shift, at a stage right now where this is the shift of when I tell people about a form of ownership of a person starting their own charter, doing these things, showing how you can do community work, showing you how a group of people can come back to a certain community, adopt a community, and do magnanimous things. I'm telling y'all, man. So that's all I gotta say, man. I'm excited. If I was a rich man, I'd just go buy it. But I don't want to go in that type of debt. I saw how much money is not. People may look at that as a lot of money, but when a group of people is donating a small fraction, a hundred grand can be broke down so easy. You know, you would be like, dang, that's simple. So all I'm saying is keep me in y'all spirits, man, because this is gonna happen. And when it happen, all y'all are invited for the inauguration. All y'all invited to come celebrate because it's going to be an amazing celebration. It's going to be packed with artifacts. It's going to be packed with history. It's going to be used as a cultural center. So all those good things, man. If you can't do nothing, if you can just take your times, man. Hey, just share my information in my bio. Gratitude, Son of God. Just share my information in the bio. All my information in my bio, y'all. All my Just share my information. I got literature. I got books. I'm coloring books. I swear, and if people know me, I got all that. I promise you, I can change things. I promise you, I can show us a lot of stuff to resurrect us. I promise you, I got blueprints to help our kids not have to be on Ritalin and all that and get misdiagnosed. Why? Because I see it. I've done it. And y'all know, seeing a brother like myself dealing with our kids, it make a difference. Seeing us own things, it make a difference. And that's what I talk about group economics. Instead of giving our resources away, we have the right to take our resources. Because this will take me forever talking about it. I can do this series. That's why I want people to hit me up. When you helping your religious and spiritual organization, you have the right to donate it. And I'm not gonna fold. I'm not gonna quit. I tell people, you have the right to donate. I say, listen to people, when you dealing with some right, you don't have to beg no one. How? Because the money that we giving Uncle Sam willingly, when you get a job, you say you want Uncle Sam to take this much, this much, this much, or this much out your check. And you think you're getting a tax return. And I'm telling you, you're not getting a tax return. You're getting a small tittle of what Uncle Sam took out your check. Because you don't know the law say you either gonna give it to Uncle Sam or you're gonna donate to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice, and they can give you a tax and receipt. That's why we don't have no infrastructure, because we begging. Look how simple that is, y'all. Like that building out there showed y'all that's changed to a group of people. Why? Because collectively, if we did it right, we can say, man, just give me a tax and receipt. Why? Because I don't got to give this money to Uncle Sam. You can't avoid certain things, but you can cipher it to a certain manifestation to where you can do business with it and be like, damn, we could have been doing that. Yeah. Think about it. Cause I got a whole library on a plethora of things. I know how to buy property. I got the whole land bank list of houses that's for sale through the whole city. If you telling me 10 people that know how to do that type of work can't come to the city, I can show you how to get houses for $5,000-$10,000 per person to come in there and do the work, fix it all up, know how to pull the contracts and the permits, all that done, fix them up. Now you owning things. You can own whole blocks in my neighborhood. It's whole blocks for sale, and you can put modular homes on it, not no cheap stuff. Modular homes on each block. Have your religious community. I'm telling you, man, things can be done because we tax exempt from the federal government. I promise y'all, I can't talk about nobody else. I only can talk about myself. If I was trying to date a woman and all that, I ain't talking about no one else. I'm telling you, I know what I can do, and I'm stamped, I'm certified. I know we can do what I'm saying in one calendar year. I know this. All I need is the people support and to trust me like they trust everyone else, and they didn't do it. I said, give me a chance. Only reason why I say that because I need the people. Just like I said, if I say, man, we trying to raise 150,000, and I say with that, and everybody say, well, I'm just hypothetically speaking, and everybody say they got 10 grand, then I'm coming with 10 too. If we trying to say everybody need 1,000, we need X amount of people to give 1,000 to get to this number. I say, I'm coming with 1,000 too. If we say we need 300 people to be okay, we're giving $100 a month. At the end of the year, that's $360,000. I'm one of the people too, right? If we say we need 150 people giving $100 a month, and that'll be $150,000 in 1 year, I'm one of them people too. That's $1,000. That's $1,000 for me in the calendar year. And I got 12 months. Just give me a tax and receipt sheet. Some people be like, man, I don't need no taxes and receipt. Why? Because they like that $1,000 ain't nothing. I'm telling you, because it ain't gonna do nothing if you make a certain amount of money. This is what I be telling us when I tell people we can do things if you're dealing with the right head. And my head is right. And we can own some things. And this can be a blueprint. I'm telling you, it can be a blueprint. I showed y'all what's for sale. We can own that mug. Everybody can be stakeholders on paper. If you ain't in the area, man, we have satellite. You know, we have a library. You have ID cards. You able to take advantage. Now in our template school, we have our store, because I have a company called MorrisHaberdasher.com where I have all our regalia, all our toppies, all our taboos, all our bins, all our cultural attire, our throbs, all attire I made. I got all that on our company page, Morris Haberdasher. So yes, we got an online store where you can order stuff, but then you'll be able to come physically in the store. We got a book company, mypdfbooks.com, online books. That's books with the Z. Now you'll be able to come into the temple and school, and on the computers, a lot of these books will be downloaded on the computers, and you can come in there and type in a subject matter, and you have a whole catalog of research. You see what I'm saying? And I know how to teach, and I'm a counselor. I know how to teach, and when we get to the level, we have our own charter school. But until then, we have our 7th hour. We have scheduled classes each week. I'm telling you, I know what we can do. And all I'm saying is I do need the people. I do need all y'all. I mean, and if anybody research me, you look me up on YouTube and all that, you know I'm transparent. But I have to be honest, I do need the people. That's why I do this, for love. I don't get paid for none of this, y'all. And I don't want to get paid for doing this. I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be able to be on here and talk to enough people to show them, to be like, hey man, if y'all like what I'm doing, we can get some off donations. We can all come together. Not, I'm begging nobody to do nothing. I'm talking about we. We can do something together, and we all can be stakeholders. And everything that we say we agree with and rock with, we can have something physical. We can make a difference. Everybody can be vanguards of what we got going on. Everybody. And it won't hurt no one. It won't hurt nobody's pockets. It won't hurt nobody. It won't hurt nobody time or nothing. You'll be like, man, this brother didn't collect no $7 million like the other man said he was going to do at school. This brother said that he collected this and he got a big chunk of it, or a nice size of it. Look what we doing. Because I know the need. I know the influence that can be done. That's why I said some people just need their own stage, you know, to be able to bring people in. You can't dumb yourself down and be on nobody else's stage. You can't do that. That's not gonna happen. You have to be bold enough, and it takes your will and the Creator's will to align, of course, with the people. Because when two or more gather, there is the Creator. If you rock with that context, I just know it take a little bit more time, and a little bit more courting. Why? Because I'm not faking I'm not conning the people. So it's not a quick sale with me. It'd be a quick sale if I was conning people, you know. But what I've been doing is courting people, and I've been showing people what we can do, and talking about it, and talking about these different tax brackets, and say you can get a tax exempt receipt. Hell, you can even file exempt when you donate to your religious and charitable contribution. What you said you're giving to your religious and charitable contribution, it got a match. So that's why you get the tax exempt receipt. I'm telling people what I know. I can go deeper with what I'm saying, but deeper is for the private Zoom teachings. Because I'm telling you, when you making the bag and all that, and that cash could be donated. But we can, those are things, because everything is for the bad, it's for the good. This is what I tell people. Everything ain't for the whole world to hear. But the basis of what I'm saying, if my people would be okay, because all my people are my people, but if we get the negative connotation away from us, from those, that small few that did wrong, that raised a couple dollars and said that they was gonna do a good, okay, we gotta let that go because it didn't happen to me. What I'm saying is, what I'm showing y'all, we can really do something and everybody can be stakeholders. That's what I'm saying. And it can be a continuous thing. And at least you have that as a tax bracket. You at least, that's what I be telling people, at least you had that as a tax shelter. Why? Because you would be like, man, I ain't giving this money to Uncle Sam no more. So the money I was giving away to Uncle Sam, I've been donating a large percentage that I can to my temple of school, and look what we doing. I ain't giving them this money no more. Because they a private banking system, I am too. So imagine you got 3, 4, 500 brothers and sisters that's operating like that, and only giving as little as $1,000 a month. So say if you're making 100 grand, you still gonna owe Uncle Sam, because you're not giving them a percentage. You're gonna owe them about like 15, maybe $12,000. You gotta give more based off how much you're making to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. And you gotta know the law of percentage that you can give. I'm telling you. But I can get specifics in other teachings. But just the base value of it, if people just did the bare minimum that rock with me, we had a temple in school and everybody would be vanguards. Everybody would be stakeholders. Wouldn't you want to be a stakeholder in that? Just like we own land and purchase land. Wouldn't you want to be a stakeholder? And then we'd develop it. Wouldn't you want to be? How? With a group of people, we can own a lot of stuff. We got passenger vans. When people come in town, how are we gonna get picked up? Well, we got 3 vans. How y'all get them? We bought them under our charter. That's tax exempt for the federal government. A body, a religious community. When I talk about things and I show y'all stuff, I said, dude, I promise y'all, I got something for y'all, man. And my heart is pure. I need the people. I'm invested, just like anything else I'm asking y'all for on here, real talk. I'm invested in it. I promise y'all, but we can't be afraid to talk about dollars. We can't. We can't be afraid to talk about dollars because we know it do take money to do some things when a person righteous. We ain't talking about no whole bunch. We talking about people coming together and people being transparent. And I'm telling you, we can rock and roll. So that's all I want to say, man. Thank y'all for listening to me. I love y'all. Check my bio out, man. All my information is in there. Say peace, say hi. I speak back. I'm a real person, man. Peace.